Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. Well, we have exciting news to talk about, and who better to talk about it with than my main man, Kenny. Kenny,
Thank you
thanks for
for
coming
yeah.
back.
Thanks for bringing me back. Round two.
Dude, I mean, how could I not? The people have spoken. I've been getting letters, physical letters in the mail saying, bring Kenny back. And
Honestly, I was hearing a lot of people saying, when are they going to get Kenny on? When are they going to get him on?
I know. I know you've been, hearing the whispers and a lot of the complaints. So we had to bring him back. And why not for what I hope is a very special episode from now into the future to talk about what should we call it, Liverpool 3.0 now? That Michael Edwards has agreed to return to Liverpool,
Massive
already a
deal.
club legend, and he is coming back for more. I'm a little shocked. I didn't actually think this was going to happen a month ago when the rumors started to kind of circle around. But Michael Edwards today, this morning, at some point, has agreed to come back in a larger role. What I've heard is he is now kind of the president of all things Liverpool, or all things football related, for
Yes.
the American owners over at FSG, Fenway Sports Group. And I couldn't be happier. Kenny, what's your kind of gut reaction to now that this is confirmed, to the news of Michael Edwards returning?
Gut reaction, extremely excited because he obviously oversaw the most recent successful era of Liverpool that is Jurgen Klopp and all of the players that he brought in. Just like you said before, he brought in like 10 club legends. It's
Yeah,
no big deal.
yeah,
But honestly, it's really exciting because I think this guy really knows what he's doing in this area of the work because like I think that just him knowing the club as well as he does after being here before, he left to go start his own analytical firm and everything like that, and then now he's actually coming back, and then he's handpicking all of the people that are going to be underneath him, and he already knows just how well to like pick the right people
yeah,
for whether it's in the team or the people that are going to be doing the stuff behind the
yeah.
scenes. So extremely exciting.
We are Liverpool, and we don't compare ourselves to other clubs because we're the best, most successful English club ever. But I think it's interesting to note the number of teams and the caliber of clubs that Michael Edwards has turned down to come back to Liverpool.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, there were several clubs that were interested in him, several that offered him positions. The two in England were Chelsea and Manchester United, and Michael Edwards was not interested in working with those clubs. I think we know why. uh,
If you go to United, you're
yeah,
dead. Don't
no,
go there.
he knew what he would be working with over there, and there's no wonder why
Yeah.
he turned them down. Now, there are two other notable clubs that I don't think offered him positions, but inquired about his availability, and he also said, "I'm not interested." So, Real Madrid inquired about his availability to become sporting director for them, as well as PSG out in France. And he said, no, I'm not interested. So if that kind of gets you even more excited as a Liverpool fan to know that Michael Edwards turned down four of the probably richest clubs, at least in the world, to come back to
Yeah.
Liverpool, it should get you even more excited. Now, that to me, I don't really care about that because we know Michael Edwards' quality. We don't need other clubs to tell us how good he is. But the fact that he's turning down club rivals is even just more. I was going to say salt in the wound to everybody else, but for us, it's just
Yeah.
like several more cherries on the top of this beautiful cake that he is
Yeah.
coming back to continue to create. Now, I think it'd be really fun, Kenny, to go back and look at all of the club signings that Michael Edwards had a hand in over the last 7 years,
Rattle them
8
off.
years. There are just a few that you might recognize, just a few names. The first would be Jurgen Klopp. Michael Edwards was responsible for when the club decided it was time to part ways with Brendan Rodgers, which that just feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? that just feels
Yeah.
like
2013-14 was one of the most fun
yeah,
years to watch, and then after that, after he left, like I wasn't
I
really
know.
sure what was going to happen. And as soon as I heard a rumor
Yep.
of Klopp coming in, I
Yeah.
was like, no way. There's no way he's coming here.
Yeah, because at that point we were what 7 or 8 years of just terrible decisions as a club. Now Brendan Rodgers was not bad. That was like we were taking a semi. It would be kind of like a Roberto De Zerbi now, right? Where it's like you've got a manager who was successful
Yeah.
at a smaller club and had some good talent, and then you bring him into a bigger club, and there was kind of some good things going on. We were close to winning a few trophies, and it just didn't pan out in the end. And honestly,
Yeah.
I remember still feeling like I just don't think Brendan Rodgers is the guy. Like we're kind of riding on Gerrard's coattails at that point in the twilight of his career, and it just never really worked out. And then finally, it kind of all just fell apart. And I remember watching highlights, not of Jurgen Klopp's players, but of him himself as manager, and just the energy, the love he had for the fans, the Dortmund fans, the love he had for his players, like the hugs and just the passion. And I was like, this guy is perfect for Liverpool. And I think I felt the same way as you, Kenny. It's like, yeah, probably not going to happen because it's just too good to be true. Like it just feels like it's too good. And then
Yeah. I feel like the first time I really like I've known of Klopp just from like knowing like Bayern and BVB and like just those teams in the German league. But the first time I ever really got to see him was when it was Dortmund versus Bayern in the Champions League final. I forget what year that was, if that was 12-13 or 13-14, I don't remember. But like just watching him just freaking out on the sideline,
I
like it was just
know.
like this guy's the man. Like he makes you
Yeah.
want to support the club.
Yeah.
He makes you
Yeah.
want to have fun
And
watching
so
the
they
game.
brought Klopp in. It was a magical appointment, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now, Michael Edwards didn't only sign world-renowned club legend managers. Let's talk through the players that Michael Edwards has brought in. We'll just kind of do it in in chronological history here. Mohamed Salah was one of Michael Edwards' first signings as sporting director. Yeah,
I thought he was
Mohamed
all right.
Salah, not bad as one of your first signings. That was at the time, just kind of a weird signing from Roma. It's like, okay, fine. He was 34 million euros or pounds or whatever. And at the time, it was like Mohamed Salah. Okay, like he played for Chelsea. I mean, whatever. He's probably a squad player. Club legend, world best. I mean, starting 11 in world best teams for the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, he's just been. We don't even need to talk about Mohamed Salah. Everybody knows about Mohamed Salah, and he's still doing it at age 31, and is still an integral part of
Yeah.
Liverpool. And really, I mean, him and Klopp alongside of each other are kind of synonymous with this era. Uh, Moving on, Andrew
Yep.
Robertson. Andy Robertson, you got to say club legend at this point because of just the era that he's played through, the number of massive games that he has played in and won. He's won everything with Liverpool, and he is one of the world's best left backs and has been for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about Robertson was more like when you brought him in
Yeah,
from, I think he came from Hull City, everybody was kind of like, oh, okay, like he kind of seems like
right.
he's like the
8
backup,
million
like
pounds.
rotational player, like it. But yeah, and then that's where you see like the brilliance of Michael Edwards. Like he's the one who's on the team
Yeah,
that's identifying that type of player, and then he comes in, and then you don't really see him for maybe a few weeks or a couple months, and he's just kind of like
yeah,
training with the team, and Klopp's getting him up to speed and everything. And then as soon as he actually gets a starting
yeah,
role, like he's irreplaceable. He It's just like that's the combination of Edwards being able to dig out that
yeah.
talent that nobody else is really seeing, and then Klopp being the man manager that he is, transforming him into an actual world class player. And that's the combination that made
He
Liverpool
could
as great as
be
they are right now.
Andrew Robertson could be the greatest bargain of all time in the history of the Premier League. I mean, £8 million for one of the greatest defenders to ever play in the competition. I mean, look at the records that he holds with most assists by a defender in the Premier League. And he's tied for that record by, of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So not bad.
Who coming up through the academy through that system too.
That's a good point, Kenny, because I think Michael Edwards isn't just responsible for these signings. He's responsible for what we're now seeing come to fruition through that academy, where he's had a hand, just like Jurgen Klopp has, of bringing up these young players through the academy to now being. I mean, we're seeing Gerald Kwanzaa, Connor Bradley. These guys are world-class talent now. They've played against the best and they've succeeded. And I mean, we just can't say enough about the work that has been done by Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp. Well, we've got more players to talk about. Here's another one. You may have heard of him, Kenny. Virgil Van Dijk. He's a defender. He's a center back, signed in 2017, 2018. Probably the best winter transfer signing ever. I mean, it could be one of the best.
Best Christmas present you'll ever receive.
They had tried to sign him in the summer, couldn't quite get there, and then Edwards comes in and says, "Nah, we're gonna take him. We're gonna take him." And they at the time, other club fans were like, "Wow, what a bust! £80 million for a center back. Well, this is terrible. This is hilarious. The Liverpool are in shambles." And Virgil van Dijk, I think this is all going to sound super biased, but honestly, who could argue that Virgil van Dijk is one of, if not the best defenders ever in Premier League history? At least top 3.
You can't argue it. Just purely statistical, he's already top of it. And then just like the eye test of watching him, how much time it looks like he has making decisions, making these tackles or almost look Herculean, but it's just him kind of just stretching his long legs out and just sweeping the ball out from under the player. And it's just, you can just look at him and tell that, this guy just is one of the best at what he does. And he just makes everybody else around him that much better.
The level of calm that he brings to the side when he's in there. I mean, look at the last game where you have a record-setting striker running at you with the ball, no one else around. Erling Haaland's got the ball, and he's coming straight at you full speed, and Van Dijk is just calmly like, "Okay, come on, let's go. Let's get it over with." And sure,
he squared him up, just let him down, just he went to his left foot, like, cool, awesome, sound, and then he'll just be like, "All right, you're not going to get an angle for the far post. I'm going to stand right here." And you just put it right in the goals of the
It's evidence that Virgil van Dijk knows every single facet of defending. His work on angles is just incredible. I mean, we've seen him foil 2v1s where he's in the perfect position, and he knows he's got the speed and the close down to go get or at least push somebody off balance before they shoot. He trusts his goalkeepers to know exactly the angle to make sure that if they're going to get a shot off, it's going to be a poor one. So anyways, I love Virgil van Dijk. He is
one of my favorite moments of him was I think when Adama Traore was still on Wolves, and the ball goes down the line, and Adama Traore is probably one of the fastest people I've ever seen in my life, and Van Dijk just outstrides him, looking like he's not even breaking a sweat.
You can't even get past him. I mean, as a striker, you've got to think about just the mental toll of playing against someone like Virgil van Dijk, where it's nearly impossible to go past him with the ball, and the mental toll that has to take on you as a striker or an attacker, it's just got to be so deflating. Let's move on. Fabinho, he signed Fabinho from Monaco, and that was obviously he's not with the club anymore, but legendary. Not a super glamorous player, but an absolutely crucial cog in Klopp's kind of stretch of winning trophies over the last 6 or 7 years. And
My favorite part of how we got him was we had just
yeah,
lost the Champions League final to Real Madrid, and literally the
yeah,
day after we signed Fabinho, and everybody's kind of just like, all right, well, cool. Like we don't really know much about him. He was in the Monaco side that ended up winning the French league. Like he was obviously a big part of that. And then when he comes in, you just see this is the
yeah,
perfect number 6 that you want. Like he's able to just read, break up the play, get a card or foul, and stop
yeah.
the team from progressing whenever he needs to. And he's just one of those players where, again, you don't really know too much about him, but you have the people in the background who can see how good this person is and how crucial he will be. And then
Another
Klopp just
signing
takes it
that
from there.
we made after that Champions League final loss was club legend, best in the world, Allison Becker. And at the time, everybody associated with Liverpool, everyone that watched that Champions League final knew that Liverpool had to go sign a goalkeeper. We just didn't have a starting goalkeeper. And
Yep.
props to Mignolet and our other options at the time.
Simon
I
Mignolet,
actually got to
what a
see Simon
guy.
Mignolet before he played for Liverpool. We were at my friend and I were out in England, and we went to a Sunderland game, and we were sitting right behind him. And at the time, I had no idea that he would be a Liverpool player someday. But
One of the best shot stoppers I've ever seen, but in terms of everything
just
else, he's not like
yeah,
dominant.
he
But
he
I
was he
enjoyed
was a
Mignolet.
good placeholder. But obviously, he didn't play in that Champions League final, and we all remember what happened there. And so, of course, we bring
Yep.
in Allison again. A really high transfer fee at the time. Other club fans were laughing at us, and now we are laughing because we have Allison Becker, who is just absolutely incredible. And the number of memories that he has already made at the club. And I think he's got a long way to go. I think he could be with the club for another 5 to 6 to 7 years, just with how he plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to be dominant during all
So,
those years.
what a list so far, and we're not even into like the 2020s. We can also look at a couple other names. I actually think Naby Keita was kind of a flop, but you're going to get some of those.
He's just one of the ones that was like
Yeah,
what could have been. Because whenever he was
yeah,
healthy, you could
yeah.
see
Just
just how
didn't stay
good he
healthy.
was. But it's unfortunate, just injury prone.
Yeah.
It sucks to see a player that good
Yep.
just be hampered by like
Zardan
injuries like
Shaqiri,
that.
I thought was we didn't really
The power cube.
we didn't really pay much for him, but I thought it was a good signing at the time. I always enjoyed watching him play in the World Cup, and he filled in well. I think he was part of that comeback against Barcelona, the 4-0 at Anfield. So you
Yeah.
gotta say that was a good decision to bring him in.
Yeah, but I think I don't even know how he got there, but I think he was at Stoke
Yep.
City and then he got relegated with them, so we grabbed him for like
Yep.
13 million or something like that. But like, yeah, just an incredible player, great skill, and scores
Yeah.
a banger every now and
Because
again.
he's like
Just
300
freaking
pounds
awesome.
and he's
I love that
5'6",
guy.
and somehow he's able to move. Here's a cool one. Harvey Elliott signed from Fulham, and
Yeah.
I don't even think the fee was enough to like report on. So he is he is 20 years old, which is insane because we signed him. I
And he's
know
been around
we
for like
signed him
4
in
years.
2018, 2019. And he's already made 100 appearances for the club, and he's still 20 years old. He's going to be breaking records, some kind of
That's
records,
awesome.
when it's all said and done, because he is now, I think, just a pivotal part of this Liverpool side, and he's very versatile and very available. He is rarely injured, and just a really, really solid young player that has come through this Jurgen Klopp era and is somehow still only 20 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah. The cool thing about that I think about Harvey Elliott is that when he went out on loan, I think to Blackburn, and he was really successful there. He was getting assists, goals, and everything like that. And when he came back, I kind of assumed that he would be more judged on his goal scoring and like assist providing ability, but he's honestly developed into
Yeah.
more of like a utility player. Like he can play out on the wing, he can play in the midfield, and he just provides so much energy. Kind of like a little bit like what Curtis Jones does. Like he has the technical ability and everything like that, but he just uses so much energy, covers the ground, presses and everything like that, and he's just able to get the ball forward, get him into the front three whenever he's in the midfield, and he's
Yeah.
honestly just such a great player to watch.
We can kind of skip over the 2019-2020 season. Not much happening there. I mean, you could say Minamino, he had some magical moments with the club, but just didn't really pan out. And it kind of felt,
The League Cup wonder, man.
kind of felt like a little bit of a placeholder as well. The 2020-2021 season, we bring in Diogo Jota, and I just love Diogo Jota. Obviously, he's had some injuries over the seasons, but I feel like even with the injuries, the time that we get with Jota on the field is just worth it because he's so clinical. And we know what he's done this year. He's been a crucial part of coming in with injuries and really, I mean, solidifying himself as a starter. I think he would start now if he was healthy, even with players coming back because of the way that he scores. So Diogo Jota from Wolves, and at the time it was kind of like a smaller club attacker who seemed to score a lot of goals. Is he gonna be able to do it at Liverpool? And sure enough, he has.
I think he was the second choice. I forget who we were trying to get before him. I don't remember, but yeah, I think he was our second choice for like backing up in the front line. But yeah, when he came in, and I forget what he came in for, like 50 or 60 million. I think people were kind of like, all right. I mean, it seems like a lot for this guy, but yeah, like whenever he's not injured, he's not injured too much, but he is like a little prone to it. But whenever he's on, he's always scoring, and he's remarkable.
The final two, Ibrahim Konate and Luis Diaz, obviously two very, very crucial cogs in the team at the moment. And what a list. What a list. I mean, you could probably put together a world-beating starting 11 from the players that we just listed off that Michael Edwards was responsible for. And that's what we did. And now that he is confirmed, there are so many major decisions to be made. And who better to make them than Michael Edwards, who is now going to become all things in charge of all things Liverpool for FSG. And I think it's an absolutely amazing deal for Liverpool. And we already, even without Edwards, I was optimistic and excited, even with Jurgen Klopp leaving because of the amount of talent. And I think we are the best managerial position that will be open for years to come. And so there's going to be managers that are, I mean, how could they turn that down? Now you have Michael Edwards. What does that do for the managers who are considering coming to Liverpool? I mean, it's just got to be another man, this job is going to, just going to be an incredible appointment, whoever is fortunate enough to win it over.
Yeah, I think it has to be the most sought managerial job
for a long time
right now.
Really.
Yeah. And I think like this, getting Edwards to come back in, I think I said it before, but I think that this is the biggest signing of the post-Klopp era, and he's not even gone yet. And it's going to be invaluable.
It's the gate that is going, or the floodgate, I should say, that will open up so many other possibilities and will allow FSG to do what they've enjoyed doing for the last 7 or 8 years in charge of the club, which is make shrewd deals that eventually turn into incredible club-altering, legendary signings that they somehow managed to do for pennies on the pound or shillings on the pound. Is that even? I don't even know. We'll say pennies on the dollar. stones on the shillings.
Stones on the shilling.
So we are overjoyed, and you should be too if you're a Liverpool fan, to have Michael Edwards coming back to the club, and we will see what legend Michael Edwards does in Michael Edwards 2.0, Liverpool 3.0. I don't even know what to call it at this point, but we have much to be thankful for and much to be excited about. Thanks for watching this All Red clip. If you like this video, please let us know by clicking the like button and commenting below. And as always, please consider joining the All Red community by subscribing to our channel here on YouTube. It's easy, it's free, and it's all red. And you're welcome to stay as long as you like. I'll be here a while, so you can hang out or you can go start watching another video. There's a lot more on YouTube, so okay. Still here, so props to you for sticking around. But I actually have to go now, so I'll see you later.